Hello, welcome to the Tabletop Collins Show. It is June 6th,
We made it.
2021.
We're still alive.
We are here to talk about games with you. I am Adam Bell. Jeremy Gage is with me, joining from his couch because there's a situation with the computers, but that's fine because the show runs on my computer, so we don't have to shut it down for 3 weeks like we did
Yeah.
however long ago. So yeah, I'm Adam Bell. You can find me on Twitter at Adam E. Bell, and of course you can find Jeremy somewhere
At Jeremy Gage 5 over on Twitter, and the host of the Draw Your Dice podcast. If you're new to the show, thanks for all our returning call-ins and fans. We're looking booked up for the day already. Out the rip.
The queue is pumping for right now. Yeah, people could still get on in here, but there are people that are looking to call, and that's great. We love to see it. Some return guests.
Yeah,
that's what I'll say.
I love that shit.
Yeah. What have you been up to lately?
What have I been up to lately? Waiting for my goddamn desktop. God bless our Lord and Savior, Apple. Not really, but
Yikes.
snafu there. I am a cleric of the Apple domain. No, never. But yeah, waiting for the desktop, trying to do what I can without a desktop, which has been really nothing outside of writing. Getting prepared for next week. Still working on that fighting game. Had really good conversations in the brain, or not in the brain trust, in the DYD Tower Cafe. Just talking with like-minded individuals who challenge me and gaslight me at every notice that they get. So it's really anyone who's been in the cafe in the last, when you were there. Thank you for being there.
Thank you for gaslighting, Jeremy.
Yeah, thank you for gaslighting me.
Perfect.
And yeah, just working on the podcast, working on trying to do business, make a business.
Sweet.
How about you? How was, you're finally getting moved in, right?
Yes.
You're moved in. I see the organization of books behind you.
Yeah, the games are here. I think this is the first. What day is it? Or what day was last week? Yeah, so this is the first day that I'm officially have no connection to that other apartment. That's a wonderful little weight off the shoulders. Again, can't reiterate it enough. Never move for a month. Even if it's only a 5-10 minute drive away from your apartment, just do it all quick. Just do it. Get it over with.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've been hanging out. Played some board games yesterday. That was nice.
Yeah.
It's nice to play some heavy bullshit that took several hours each. It's been a very long time.
Really massaging the brain open.
Yeah, I just haven't used my brain to push cubes around, and how long? Yeah, I can't think of it, which is unfortunate because that means I've forgotten all of the rules to a lot of the games. So it's a little harder to get started, but who cares? It's fine. I'm good at learning games.
Yeah, I'm good at learning.
It's probably why I'm decent at writing games, making them, because it's just the mechanics just seep in.
Yeah.
To the folds of the brain.
You have a lot of tools.
Which most of the tools are board game tools, which is unfortunately why every design lately is begging for a box.
Where's our amazing product design? Where is that?
That's the thing. I don't think I have that skill set. The amazing product design. I think I know what bad product design is. So I'm not worried about whenever I do eventually release a box, I'm not worried about making something shitty because I just won't I won't let it happen. But on my own, we'll see. Maybe I have it.
You feel like a man that has a lot of boxes of games in your house. You have experience opening them, putting things away.
Yeah.
Right? I think you know a thing or two about box design.
Well, that's what I'm saying is I know what bad box design is, and I know what good box design is, but knowing that versus being able to create that's two whole things.
3D modeling.
Yeah. You gotta the exact right thickness of cardboard for your game. It's important.
Adam, we've got callers.
Yeah, should we stop bullshitting about this?
Yeah. Enough about us. Let's get the callers in here.
Let me see who's first. Oh, we've got return caller, Adam Vass. First in queue. They were lining up 10 minutes early.
I like that. I like that shit. Pitch the tent.
I'm here for it. That's better than often we'll get... let's just start it. Hi, thanks for calling the Tabletop Call-In Show. How's it going?
Hello, it is I, the Camp Keeper. I heard you talking about amazing product design, and I will call you.
Yeah, we were. Do you know something about amazing product design, Camp Keeper?
Of course I do. My favorite box design is a casket.
Incredible.
And also the box for the story game Campfire on Kickstarter right now is quite nice.
I have seen something about that. Is that It's not a casket. It's
If we ground up your bones, it might suit the body. I'm gonna lose the plot fairly quickly, so don't ask too many questions.
Everyone's saying the camp keeper needs to be louder.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Heard. Sorry to interrupt you, camp keeper. I just want to make sure everyone can hear you.
Whether or not they can hear me, I'm sure they can feel my presence.
I know I certainly can.
Yeah, the vibe is much more important. So tell me about this product design camp. You said campfire? That makes sense as a camp keeper, that you set fires and are drawn to fire-based.
Of course, we gather around the fire to share our terrifying tales, and the smoke obfuscates the shadows that lurk behind us as we explore our deepest fears with our bestest friends. In a role-playing game kind of thing called Campfire.
What's your deepest fear? Quick. Camp Keeper.
My deepest fear is the living. I don't feel like I need to explain that.
I don't like interaction.
It's very bold of you to call into this living run. This is an all living run tabletop call-in show. So thank you for sharing that. So you're talking about
for yourself.
You're not. Oh, Jeremy, I didn't want to assume. I just thought.
Yeah.
That you were
talk
alive.
about another time. Another show.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Well, anyway, I just want everyone to give me some money in exchange for a scary story. So why don't you just head to braintrust.rocks and back the Campfire Kickstarter right now?
That I will do that shortly. Perhaps even
I thought I really had a plan before I called in. And I crumbled under the pressure of being live.
Did you have a question for us, Camp Keeper?
What's your favorite scary story? Tell me a story. I'll offer you a custom metal coin, 1 of 10, in the boxed set of Campfire Anthology Horror Storytelling Game.
Let's see. The things that spook me the most are generally paranormal, like exorcism movies, because my brain is always like, could it be possible? Could there be malevolent demon spirits? Maybe.
You can't rule it out.
Who's to say?
Yeah, you can't say it's not possible.
My favorite scary story. There was this person. Let's just say that there was a gathering of tents and cabins. I'm forgetting the word for that. They have like a fire every night and tell stories around it. A camp. So this is this person that runs a camp, and they'd been running this camp for 30, 40 years, and they were coming up on the end of what was once their life. And well, they just loved this person just loved keeping this camp, and so went into the woods, which they've known that several times over the history of this camp people have disappeared into these woods, and they went in there seeking the secret of the disappearance and hoping to find some eldritch power that they could turn their life force over to in order to be born once more under the guise of the dead and keep the camp forever. So that's my favorite story, is what happens after that with the camp keeper. There's something about they called into like a show about RPGs. I don't know how that works. They killed somebody.
Yeah, it's getting very meta.
Campkeeper, I've got one other question for you. I noticed that you're using World Champ Game Co.'s Adam Vass's computer to call into us, which makes sense because probably it's difficult for you to work a computer. Is Adam there with you, or did you do something sinister here?
Hello?
Hey.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
What's up, gang?
What up?
I had just walked into my office and Discord was up. Kind of smells like smoke in here. I don't know. My computer
Are you good?
might be running hot.
Are you all right?
Moved. Dealing with, a couple of atoms doing moves. You know what it's like.
It's all about moving when you're an atom in May/June 2021.
Yeah, gonna have to run a fan. This room smells a little stale, a little foresty. I don't know what the guys here while I was gone.
But you're okay, is the important thing.
Oh yeah, I just went and got some coffee.
Okay. Cool.
How's the show going? Oh, the show's live, huh?
Yeah, you're live on the air. Yeah. It's pretty good.
We're on the internet.
This is our. I wouldn't call it this. I wouldn't say that you're the second call because it was kind of all one, and it might be related to your smell situation.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to catch up. I'm a little behind on the show. I heard someone called on my behalf last week. I very much appreciate that. Asked about some trucks.
Yeah, we had a long conversation about trucks.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I started writing the trucker game, and then I read Long Haul 1983 and decided, let me give the proper credit, by Sean Patrick Kane. Long Haul 1983, available on itch right now. It's so good that I don't want to make my game about trucks anymore.
I get that.
So it's called Trunk. My book's called Trunk now. It's just about a car trunk and what's in it. A little choose your own adventure zine that I'm going to put out this month.
Awesome.
But yeah, just been tinkering with that, drinking some a hot Kenyan coffee that I got down the street. Having a nice little Sunday midday.
Yeah, trying to ease back in, and hopefully you don't live in a haunted house.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't think it's haunted. I don't know why. Do you think it's haunted?
No.
Okay, good.
Does your roommate work at a camp?
My roommate works at the comic book store.
Okay,
he's at work right now, actually.
I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I know that there's people calling in. I don't want to impose. I wasn't really planning on calling, but I'm glad that you called. Got to see you guys and chat for a second.
Yeah,
Thanks
we called you.
Me.
Yeah, that's what happened. That's what we do.
I don't know. I like the tabletop call-in show reverse format. I like breaking the standard where you called me in from the other room. I heard someone call for me and I came rushing.
Well, it's great talking to you. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Of course,
likewise.
Viewers, head to braintrust.rocks to check out Adam's new game.
Oh yeah, I worked on a game with my buddy Will, co-founder of the Brain Trust. It's called Campfire. It's on Kickstarter right now. It's pretty great. Braintrust.rocks. Trunk is coming to my Patreon. That's worldchampgameco.patreon.com this month, where you can get it for as low as $5. And I also am working on Fiskborg right now with the legendary Sprinting Owl. So if you want to add fishing to your Morkborg game, there's still 4 days left on that campaign at tinyurl.com/Fiskborg.
Great. Awesome. Well.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
See ya.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, if it seemed too hard to explain to Adam that there was an undead camp keeper that called us.
That is correct.
But I'm sure he'll watch it back and understand.
What is haunted, really? Haunted means just something spiritual is around you. Doesn't make it bad, right? It's not negative.
It's not inherently positive either, though.
And you know what? Is haunting interactive fiction?
Let's bring in...
Yeah.
Tony Vicinda's back.
Yeah.
Let's slide him up. Welcome to the Tabletop Collins Show. How's it going, Tony?
Hey, it's going good.
Welcome back.
It's good to be back. I actually have a coherent thought, but I do have a couple incoherent thoughts first.
Great. We like to start with those.
Yeah.
One, if Adam is still around and listening, I know it's like the worst faux pas, especially the first week of being a roommate with somebody, but I do need Adam to go eat one of those tortilla chips out of the fridge and then report back on it. I do need that to happen because if you don't know, there's tortilla chips in the fridge and at Adam's house, and I need to know if they're crisper, if the salt pops a little bit more. Like I got to know about this. I mean, you can affect the humidity in a lot of things. Maybe it's a softer mouthfeel and it's less crisp, and that's better. But yeah, please let us know. So that's one incoherent thought. Second one, this is not why I called in. Oh, go ahead.
I'll keep talking about chips. There was some discussion on this that like this potentially makes them more stale. Because if you put bread in the fridge, for example, the starches in the bread, the colder temperature speeds up their crystallization process, which makes it go stale faster. I don't know if corn chips. Well, the freezer
sucks water out also, and so there's a lot of weird things going on.
Yeah. Well, the freezer's less bad because it's cold enough that it goes past the sped up. It still isn't the best thing to do with your bread unless, you know.
I'm sorry, we're getting something live from World Champ Gameco. Breaking news.
I'm curious if corn chips have the same.
The chip is still crunchy. I don't know how long they've been in there. Honestly, the sensation of eating a cold chip is pretty good.
Cold chip.
I've been Jeremy Gage with breaking news.
This is new chip tech.
I'm going to do some science this week. I'm going to buy a new bag of corn chips, because I believe we're talking about the tortilla style. I'm going to put half of them in the fridge, leave half of them in the bag, and eat equal amounts until they're both gone, and see what it's like. I'll report back maybe next week on Collins Show, maybe through some other format. My second incoherent thought, though, I do want to talk about it. So why I'm calling in, we're going to talk about it in a second. Stick it in the back of your mind. I'm about to run iToaster, my Brave Little Toaster inspired game, for the first time for actual players. It's a game about small appliances in a big world. Touchstones would be the Brave Little Toaster movie. But if you've never seen that particular brand of nightmare fuel, themes from Toy Story would work equally well for some very weird and bizarre reasons, because it's a lot of the same team members, actually. But in the dark 80s purely animated thing. So I want to talk about what adventure I should run them on. I want your thoughts, but I want that in a second. Here's what I want to talk about more first. And that is this. I had a thought a little while ago about, wouldn't it be fun to run a TTRPG summer camp, like sleepaway camp virtually? But it was really just an excuse to play sleepaway over the course of 3 nights with a bunch of people and potentially sell t-shirts that say like, you know, the Linderworm didn't eat me or whatever. But now with Campfire coming out, here's my pitch, and I want to know what y'all think about this, and if people would be interested. A weekend, potentially online, probably online event sometime this summer, maybe long weekend, 3-day weekend.
This summer.
That was a sleepaway camp style thing, but it was really just a 3-day excuse for us all to play a bunch of games with each other with some continual games in the evening, like over the night, and maybe some continual games in the morning, and then just fun game stuff throughout the course of the day. And different people could staff different sections of the camp center. So somebody could be in charge of like the ropes course, somebody else could be in charge of the mess hall, and we could just play a bunch of games together. Maybe a temporary Discord pops up. Who knows? Would y'all come to digital virtual TTRPG sleepaway camp this summer?
I don't see why not.
Yeah, I'm into it. So is
scheduled?
Is the ropes course? Are you like, what are we doing at the ropes course? Is what I want to know. The digital
ropes course is all about building trust and communication with each other on low ropes. So that's really like you're looking at intentional group dynamics pieces on the low ropes.
Okay.
Which I think there are plenty of games that you could play remotely that would still fall into there. There's a lot of verbal games. How you sequence the trust building elements when physical touch is not a thing. Because actually, I don't know if y'all know this. So verbal communication, basic verbal communication is a low trust activity. Me saying hello to you is actually low trust. Eye contact is another level. Being close to somebody physically is another level. But physical contact with somebody, typically, I mean, there's all kinds of other reasons why it may not be the next step, is actually kind of a shortcut into a sense of intimacy, which is why low ropes are an effective training tool, because you have a reason you have to be in physical contact, but that the kind of bonding that happens between people in that moment creates a lot of trust. So you have to figure out a way to kind of do that, because that's what actually opens you up to deeper conversations. So that physical contact element, light physical contact, is actually a entree into bigger forms of communication and intimacy. So I mean, that's all something that has to be sussed out. But I think we can still do a lot of the same things. High ropes are all about pushing the individual, pushing themselves as far as they can go with community support, stepping outside of your comfort zone into your challenge zone, but not into your panic zone, right? So you've got to find that sweet spot. So, low ropes and high ropes do different things, but I think we could probably figure out a way to mimic some of that, or just Smash Brothers, whatever. It's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's summer camp without the projector of Smash Brothers up on
Right.
it?
That's like what the counselors do late at night.
So yeah, I like this. I like the idea of taking a real world thing and then trying to thematically like capture the essence of what that part of the real world thing is, like you're doing here with the two different ropes courses, and then finding a game to pair that with that has that similar vibe. I think that thoughtful approach to like an event is a pretty cool idea.
Dread has a lot of good basic elements. Dread would be a low rope, right? If you were in person. Like it really is. The level of physical interaction you'd have with that would be a good analogy for some of that. I don't know. We'll think about it. I think the cool thing to do would be like we set up, because also what we're essentially talking about is creating a digital experience of camp using TTRPGs as the whatever. But I think it'd be fun to just get a bunch of people in there and say, I want to create this section. I'm now the camp's, low rope coordinator, and here's my low rope team. But then also, I'm in charge of the mess hall. What is the mess hall? It's just that's like, I think mess hall is like Smash. It's like, this is a good place you come just to be like, have your soul fed a little bit and hang out with other people. Right? So anyways, we'll think about that. We'll talk about it. Looks like there's some interest in the chat. But maybe sometime this summer. I just want an excuse to make shirts and to play Sleepaway over 3 or 4 nights with people. But now I also want a chance to play Campfire over 3 or 4 nights with people. So I think we could do a lot of fun stuff. So why I actually called is I'm about to play in 35 minutes. I'm about to run people through my Brave Little Toaster inspired RPG. But I just want you guys to workshop a quick adventure scenario with me. That way I can be as surprised as they are. So they're going to be playing 4 appliances. I don't know what type of appliances yet. And they're going to go on some sort of adventure. It's not combat is never the focus. Like you can damage other people, you can be damaged, but you're a small little appliance. And so your typical tactics are use your features, like the things that you can do. Sorry, your functions. Use the things that you can do to trip people, escape things, run away, creatively solve problems. That sometimes might involve some level of whatever. There is physical risk. You can get damaged. Your condition can get worse. Starfish Killer is in the chat. They don't want to be spoilered, but they want to know. So what are y'all thinking? I have some adventure seed ideas, but I just want to hear from y'all. What kind of adventure do you think they should go on?
What does an appliance want?
So the primary motivation is stated in the game. By the way, this is a creepy part. Have you guys seen Brave Little Toaster ever?
I have.
I feel like I have, but I don't remember a damn thing. I remember there's always a sense of familiarity when I look at anything related to it, but I don't know anything about it, honestly. So I must have been very young.
So the main thing you have to do is manage your what we call in the game charge, your energy, right? And depending on what your innards are made out of, you might have different energy, which basically lets you use your functions also too, which is essentially thought of as spell slots for lack of a better comparison. But you might things like the power's out and we're having a hard time charging, right? It could be there's this obsession that they have with the master. So if you think about the affinity that the toys have for Andy in Toy Story, but you replace the name Andy with the master, you get some really creepy, like vaguely, like this is not to yuck anyone's yum or to kink shame. You get some very weird statements made by appliances about their deep love of the master. And they want the master to be happy, and they want to engage with the master. And sometimes the master is far away, or sometimes they don't have a master. Sometimes the master doesn't, use them anymore.
Yeah. My first thought, even before you discussed all that, was like, what if, these are if they're kitchen appliances, like if the outlet that they always get plugged into sucks. Like there are better outlets in the house, but they always get plugged into this junk one that does not give them enough juice. And so like repairing that outlet somehow could be a good start. I don't know if that's enough.
That's a good seed. I like that.
Could be like a Boss Baby situation where like there's a new high-tech appliance in town taking all the master's love.
Yeah,
I like that too.
A lot of it, I think, depends on the types of appliances you get, because that could be like, what if it was a rice cooker, a crock pot, and two other things, and the new thing is like an Instant Pot that kind of does all of those things.
Oh man.
So like
I feel like I need to go apologize to my kitchen appliances now. I like that too. Also, one of the cool things about the game is that it both assumes some weird type of retrofuturism. Also, nobody actually knows how technology doesn't work the way we would expect, because in the second movie, which is not part of the original books, the internet just works through electrical outlets. And that's just kind of hand waved in there as how the internet works. And it's a constant thing. And anybody watching now would be screaming at the top of their lungs. But the assumption should just be technology works how it works. And we don't need to actually understand any of that, because this is an alternate world where things are different. And technology might work differently here. Anyways, so I think those are two good. We've got a janky outlet that doesn't work well, and we need access to the other outlet, which brings a lot of factionism into play. Like, do they have to interact with the other ones, or the master's love is being stolen by what type of appliance is stealing the master's love?
It has to be one of those like fucking all-in-ones, but doesn't really all-in-one appliances. Like it replaces 4 other appliances or something like that. I was also thinking about a seed that is like sustainability, like repair versus replace, or something like that. Like the appliances need repaired and they would work fine, but no one's willing to do that or something, or they repair themselves.
All of these could come into play. Like
It could.
Yeah.
Like the master could be replacing the appliances because the master believes that the appliances are failing, but in reality it's this outlet. And they know that they're not broken, the outlet's broken, but here comes this new fancy appliance that like somehow works regardless of the bad outlet. And now they're all fired up.
I like it. I will say there are some really heavy themes like planned obsolescence, the fact that machines are basically made to break down a lot of the time. animal cruelty, abandonment, and drowning issues that oftentimes come up when people are watching any of the Brave Little Toaster series. So if you haven't ever watched the following two, they're nowhere near as good, but they are definitely worth the watching of the entire trilogy just for the cultural touchstone point of it. And so you can find them all online in different places. It is much harder to find the original movie than it is to find the other two. They're widely available, but the original is a little bit off the books. So, well, I think that's it. Okay, I'm gonna start. I'm probably gonna end up doing sleepaway camps. So start thinking about what section of the camp you might be interested in running or participating in, and we'll talk to y'all later.
Great.
Oh, it's just to plug stuff.
Please, if you got it. I mean, I know you got it.
Go to braintrust .rocks to back Campfire. It's funded now. And it's absolutely amazing. I'm super excited about it. Brave Little Toaster RPG, inspired RPG, iToaster is coming to Exalted Funeral next month, which I'm super excited about. And then if you want to check out all the stuff that we do, go to plus1exp.com. A lot of people have been very excited, more so than the last few months, about the beard balms we carry. We do make beard balms. We do have skin and lotion stuff coming also too. If you have a beard, if you know somebody has a beard, if you engage with the patriarchy, but by which I mean your own father, and you want to celebrate Father's Day coming up and you want to get them something tabletop themed, you can go pick up one of our beard balms and send it to them. Or if they don't have a beard, pick up a copy of Beards and Beyond at plus1exp.com.
Great. Always a good example of plugging.
Bye, y'all.
See ya.
Bye.
What did that bring up in my head? I feel like something came up in my head during that. And now it's...
During which part?
I don't know. There was something that I was like, oh, save this away, bring it up at the end or after, between calls, and it's gone.
And that's just how the human brain works.
Unfortunately, it's a slippery thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's why we write stuff down. That's why I just write things down.
Yeah, you are always, when you're at your desk at least, I see you writing stuff, and I'm like, that seems smart.
I like it. I don't trust my brain for anything.
Yeah. I do, but I shouldn't. And one day I'll learn.
Who's next, Adam?
You want to know who's next?
I do.
Randy Lubin.
Randy
next.
Lubin.
Always a good chat.
Yeah!
Let's see what we got today. Hey, thanks for calling the Tabletop Collins Show. How you doing?
Well, hello. So good to see you both.
Yeah, welcome back.
Good to be back on the show. Calling in today on the topic of generators. So generators being usually little super light web apps that auto roll on tables, potentially auto rolling on a bunch of tables at once to come up with something composite. And the reason that I'm bringing this up as a topic is because Raf D'Amico, who's next after me in the queue, and I noodling on a little generator app, probably an extension to StorySynth. So the idea would be as a game designer, throw all your content in a spreadsheet, maybe a bunch of different tables, and then it auto-generates the generator page. And there are a bunch of generator tools out there. So what I'd love your thoughts on, and also thoughts from everyone in the chat, is what are folks excited to see in a generator tool? Like what would you love to see that maybe doesn't exist already, or you'd love to see done smoother? Like at least one of the things we're thinking of is the ability to like do some very lightweight visual customization, have a little bit more visual control over what the end thing looks like without having to necessarily know HTML and CSS. And while you're noodling, I'll drop in the chat, like one of the inspirations was the very gorgeous looking dungeon generator for Morkborg, where I just lost my tab. There we go. So I'm just gonna paste this in the chat right now. And so like this was just like aesthetically very pleasing. And so one of the questions was like, how can we make it so that anyone without any coding skills can make something that looks as good and is as functional as this?
Yeah. I'm remembering. I'm looking at this now. I'm remembering it.
Could be offering building in, like if you and Raf are like familiar with the pieces of code that would be required of customizing a generator or customizing something in general, something like to the equivalent of Squarespace tech, Wix tech, or whatever, that would allow someone to sort of like plug in templates that you provide, and then you could make it open source and have other like savvy designers add that stuff to that system.
Ooh, template
Potentially.
library is a very good idea.
Yeah. Yeah, open source template library, because StorySynth is already in a slight way open source, that it allows anyone to sort of like plug and play their system inside of the site. So I think that that's definitely applicable. I also, if that's not a feature, I don't know, I can't think off the top of my head what else you could do with that isn't like, hey, here are just like the tools. If you know CSS and stuff like that, feel free to like have at it. We leave it open for you to adjust these pages in this manner. But you know, as you were trying to say, you'd like to prevent that if possible, or make it a little bit more user friendly or accessible. But I don't see like a middle ground between like having a Squarespace sort of template feature or just doing the full custom. Like I can't see the in between potentially.
Yeah,
the
it's one of the things we're thinking.
Ooh,
Go ahead.
You got it.
So yeah, one of the things that I've seen done to some interesting effect is there's a tool called Dat GUI where you can like manually play with the CSS but without actually doing it in code. Like there's a little widget picker where you can start just messing with the color or the font or whatever, and you can save that back. You can kind of export that as a little CSS blob. So without actually understanding CSS, you can edit and save. So I think there might be something interesting there.
I was also just remembering now that tools like Figma and Bubble.io, they also have sort of, you can build out the appearance. Most people use this for like phone apps and stuff like that, but you can build out the appearance of something, like strictly do it as graphic design. And then those sites or those tools will spit out code for you to install somewhere. So those are, maybe it's like tutorials on those tools, but I'm sure there are plenty of like YouTubers that already do that. But maybe links to those things could also be, if someone's more design minded than coding minded, those are also options.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think making sure that whatever we build can import the code from wherever that is very easily. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I've seen a ton of sites that have like import features for those particular applications.
I think for me, the absolute ideal would be, I mean, if you do want to make it so people that don't know code or don't know HTML, don't know CSS could use it, and you wanted to make something like the Morkborg one, the ability to like define how many, like to do it on maybe like a grid-based thing, because that's exactly what this is. So like the one this Dungeon and Gen thing that I'm looking at is like a 4x6, like 4 rows or 6 rows, 4 column grid, and then obviously those are broken up and split in different ways. So if you were able to define that and define like just different fields that those pull from,
yeah, I am so 100% there.
Way.
Yeah, so in the initial like very very lightweight MVP, we got that working. We have it so that you can just sort of say how many things per row, and it automatically happens, and it's mobile friendly to start. So
cool. And can you merge, like if you can merge different rows and columns and stuff together? I think that's a great place to start, because then I don't need to know anything about CSS, but I could still make something that looks vaguely like the more
exactly. Just like tell me how many things per row. So
yeah,
totally. Also, I see a bunch of people in the chat talking about perchance, which I think is super cool. Perchance, I think, is really powerful if you know a little bit of code. So, like, one of the things I'm thinking about is like, what's the stuff that like we can again like take that little the net requirement of knowing a little bit of code away and just empower people to just get that little bit further, a little bit faster.
Because you know enough code that you can make a modular thing that somebody without any code experience can just use your code, and that's great.
Totally.
Yeah.
And the other fun thing that go ahead.
I forget. What's the other fun thing?
It's just like out of the box, it'll be real time shared. So like everyone at the same link sees the same prompts, which I think most of the other ones are all static. Like not shared.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Because then that brings in, I mean, obviously this is probably what you're going for, but that definitely brings in the ability to use this less as GM prep and more as like the central piece of play.
Yeah,
Yeah, and you could start designing mechanics where, like, especially if you have, like, with the Morkborg one, you can click on an individual box and it gets you a new one. So you can have things like a game that has you, like, walking through a place and, like, changing it in certain ways that bring in a random thing.
Procedural generation sort of stuff could be a little bit more possible, too, for everyone at the table. I'm thinking, like, what Diablo does with rifts and dungeons and things.
Totally. Well, cool. Yeah. This was super fruitful for to hear your thoughts, to hear the thoughts from folks in the chat. Keep dropping your thoughts in the chat or in Brain Trust forever. I'm sure Raph and I will be sharing a bunch more as we keep exploring this design space. So thanks for having me on the show. Oh, I guess plugs. Or check out StorySynth, which so we're just working on the generator stuff now, but there are plenty of other fun formats. StorySynth is a free web app for quickly designing, playing, and sharing games. Most of the formats now are variations on like draw a prompt from a shuffled deck, so like For the Queen or Quiet Ear. So give it a shot. Storysynth.org. We have the Storysynth Summer Jam running all summer. And if you have feature requests or want help or want playtests or whatever, please reach out. I'd love to help. Cool. Take care, y'all.
Thank you, Randy.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Ooh, one more thing I actually thought of with that is that would allow you to do things like the Carta games.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you have a face-down map of cards and you flip them. So it would be like, oh, now click on this column and identify what that is. So something that would allow you to like lock everything in but just reveal.
Yeah.
Could be really cool. And then something that would let you... What's the other thing?
I definitely think, now you say that, a feature that might also help is like a lockout feature. Like you can set table options to not be repeated once they're picked, potentially.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Because, then you can do... Like, I was trying to think of how to do this soap opera game that I'm working on. Involves basically a deck of cards where there's always 5 cards revealed. So something like this would just be able to do that. And then, I don't know where you go from there. But be able to do that. And then the last thing that would work for that soap opera game is if you could add new columns like on the fly that aren't random, that are just like, oh, I've generated a new character. I want to get that on the screen.
Yeah.
Let me type it in.
Live updating, essentially, instead of like having to go back to the spreadsheet, re-upload, like something that can be like in ecosystem, essentially.
Right. Yeah, and maybe it's a random thing, maybe it's not.
Yeah, I think having the ability to random, specific, and lockout would all be like good features for that. I don't think a ton of different table generators have, because sometimes I would use a table generator and I would kind of a couple of times after like a longer campaign or a longer session. I was like, oh wait, we already did a cave. Oh wait, we already did a cave. Oh wait, we already did a forest. Like I'd like to spice it up, and sometimes that could be a pain point of other generators.
Yeah. There we are.
Great.
Perfect.
Here we are.
It's perfect. Yeah. That you could do with like a 2-dimensional table where like all of the like entries 1 through 8 have a second column that says cave. And now I'm locking out no more caves.
Yeah. 0 caves.
Gets complicated quick, but that's your challenge, Randy.
Yeah, you asked, I gave.
So like Randy said, Raph is next in the queue.
Yeah.
Let's keep it going.
Raph D'Amico.
Hello. Thanks for calling the Tabletop Colin Show.
Raph D'Amico.
What's up, my fellow humans?
What's going on?
I'm great. How are you two?
I'm also great.
Good. Desktop, but good.
I love calling in near the end because it's just there's just like bath of topics. I'm just like, do I want to talk about toasters or generator tables or boxes or generators or StorySynth or toaster generators or box toasters or campfire
toaster generators?
Undead. It spits out undead bread.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, now imagining like a toaster, put a piece of bread in, comes back out, storytelling prompt.
Yeah, that's
Right onto
exactly
the
what I
bread.
was imagining.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jesus face.
Or, you know, any face, right? You gotta have variety if you want your storytelling toaster.
You're like
This
an
is your
ink blot,
NPC.
Wait,
generator, but it's burnt toast bits on the bread.
Sounds so good. If I go quiet, it's actually because I'm filing a patent. I might need a second. Sorry.
Sure.
Yeah. Sounds good. In all our names, we came up with it together, you know? It's a
Yes.
joint effort.
Thank you. Thank you for the
Yeah.
attribution.
Look at that, you know, Tabletop Collins show. Hive of creativity.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I didn't really have a reason for calling in. I just wanted to hang out. But,
I'd love to hear it.
Yeah. Man, I do have a bunch of thoughts. One, what is the creepiest household appliance? I kind of want to blend some of these topics that have been coming up. What's the scariest household appliance or object?
A mandolin.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh,
I guess it's not an appliance technically, but I've never, as far as I know, the mandolin is undefeated. It's never, no one's ever come out alive from a mandolin. You know what I'm saying?
Within your first 5 times of using a mandolin, you're losing a chunk. Like,
yeah.
And then you figure it out, hopefully.
right. You're talking about the kitchen, not like the musical instrument.
That's correct. Not the musical instrument, the one where you slide some form of anything across it and your finger can. I have lost many a pinky chunk too. I think that it's literally millimeters smaller than it's ever been in its life.
Yeah, my middle finger on my left hand, definitely, like, you can see that I lost some of it. It's just
flat.
it's no longer round. It's it's a little bit wrong.
Perfect cube. Yeah, I guess when I think about that, right, it's like, I'm holding some meat using the meat that is my hand. Surely the mandolin will know the difference.
It doesn't.
No, literally not one time.
Oh no.
The
that blade is
sharp.
truly
the most neutral tool in the entire kitchen.
Neutral evil, though?
No, just neutral.
It does
not care.
It does exactly. It chops everything that you bring to it. It does not care.
I will do my job.
If you slide it across that blade, it is getting sliced, and that's, you know. I was going to say.
My answer is the mandolin.
I feel like blenders aren't creepy, but they are terrifying.
That was my second.
Especially like a proper, like a Vitamix or something. Like, that thing will fuck you up if you let it. Yeah. And you would have to really try, but
don't juice me, dude.
Yeah, don't.
A lot of scary power there, just sitting on your kitchen counter. I mean, this is why the Final Destination movies are such genius, right? So, like, this is like Final Destination, the RPG. Tony, if you're still listening, you're gonna throw this into your campaign.
Final Destination, the toaster. One of you are responsible for murdering the master.
That's right. You play the appliances and have to come up with creative Rube Goldberg-like ways to absolutely murder your owner.
Yeah, you want to release yourselves from the master's grasp.
Lord.
So dark. So dark. You know? Adam, if you're still here, if you want me to write that scenario for Campfire. So dark.
My email is...
Oh my god.
Tony in the chat saying, I'll make a soup in that Vitamix, I think brings up why maybe they are a little creepy. The fact that you can put cold vegetables in and come out with a hot soup, and it's not
Wait a minute,
stove.
wait, what?
You can put, like, if you want to make like a good tomato soup, grab a couple tomatoes, a couple of onions, put them in the blender, and walk away for 5 minutes, and the friction, you open it up and it's steaming, and it's tasty.
First of all, if you want to make a good tomato soup, where's your cream component? Where's your creamy tomato soup?
I haven't made one in a while, so I know that you do tomatoes and onions and other ingredients, and then walk away and come back and it's hot as shit.
The most delicious tomato soups I've ever had have had cream in them.
Yeah? I'm not a big cream. I guess I can make like a cashew cream for you.
Here.
I don't do the regular cream. Cold chips and
I
hot
feel
soup. Jesus Christ.
That tortilla soup, baby.
I don't want to pick a side. I'm just gonna sit here quietly, you know.
It's okay. You
Mom
can
and Dad, you're fighting. Yeah.
It's all right to like
It's
cream.
not really competition. Yeah, it's not really a competition anyway. So
I could put a little coconut milk in there. You get the high fat stuff, nice and creamy.
That's what I'm saying. It's that mouthfeel.
Mm.
Instead of that watery tomato, let's get some cream in there.
100% coconut milk. Team coconut milk, absolutely.
There we go.
I think with the blender though, I just got to say, well, I feel like I feel like I took a good synthesis of the two. I don't know. Ooh, beans for cream.
Beans for cream. Grace.
Beans and cream coming to itch.io soon. No, I do feel like the Vitamix is doing a kind of, you know, like Warhammer 40k of like the Rift, and it's like always there. And sometimes if you like screw around a little bit too much, you accidentally let demons in. I assume that's where the Vitamix is getting the heat.
Yeah, it's like
turn it on.
Some portal that it's opening to hell.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's like there's like a Cenobite somewhere, just holding up a small flame just to heat it for you. It's really it's a very productive use of the connection to the darkness.
Yeah, it seems like it's purely for the good of your food, and no demons enter.
Yeah, where we're going, you won't need eyes because we're already home in the kitchen.
Yeah, we only experience taste.
I need my eyes in the kitchen.
We experience our entire perception of life through taste. If I can't lick it, I don't know what it is.
Or the next rung on the campfire hierarchy of not the campfire, sorry, the campground hierarchy of getting to know things.
Tasting each other. I said it. I'll say it again. You want me to say it again? Tasting each other.
Good one for the Crypt Keeper. The Crypt Keeper is still in the dimensional vortex.
Paulina.
Wait, I came up with a topic.
Cool. Yeah.
I guess this is already a topic, but I got something. So this is actually something me and Randy have been talking about. By the way, we're really excited about this generator. We hope it'll be really, really helpful for folks. But there's this interesting thing, right? Where you remember that feeling where sometimes you just want the thing to be generated. Like I remember playing this like Band of Blades campaign, and you have to generate the missions, and that was just one where we're just like, we just want the data. We don't want to do the tables ourselves. Just say generate it, boom, got the thing. And then there's other times like the Nightmares table in Mothership. The Mothership supplement, what's it called? I forget the first one.
Dead Planet?
Right here. Yeah, Dead Planet has this D100 table of nightmares, and it's amazing. Just amazing to look at. It's too early to read one out. Here you go. No. You see sharks circling in the wine dark sea. You are bleeding. It won't stop. You are lying on the beach in tangled nets. The tide keeps rising up towards your face, gradually but inexorably. Gulls squabble and circle in the baking sun. There's much, much worse ones. And just your fingers are horrible.
It's just a spread of raw nightmares.
There's 100. It's just a spread. 2 pages with your jaw unhinges as you vomit a torrent of earwigs. Good stuff.
It's good. I hate it. It's good.
I hate it so much. So my experience with these kinds of tables is like sometimes you just want the thing, and sometimes you kind of want this whole experience around. Like sometimes you sometimes I find I like to hold the table. Like I want the table in my hands. And then obviously you have games that are, card based or, like For the Queen, like where, it's basically a table, but you'd never want to play it as a table.
Right.
There's a wonderful game called Moose Trip that has like 20 psychedelic, trips that you go on as a moose. You actually play moose who are getting high on mushrooms. and it just has you do these very pleasant little trips, and you just kind of pick a random one and just tell that story to your friends. It's just like one of the like loveliest games in the world. And it's presented as like a single page. And to play it with a friend, I turned it into a card-based thing because there's something about the tactility of having just these tiny little cards that you kind of pick up off the ground in front of you. They're like scattered, you know?
Oh, you could scatter them like all over the grass.
Yeah, exactly.
Aww.
Exactly. You could just play, like, I made like really tiny ones. They're, like 2 inches across, little squares with rounded corners.
Yeah.
And that kind of felt like it helped the experience. By the way, if anyone, Moose Trip by Kira McGran, it's just an amazing game. It's just, if you want to have like a lovely time with your friends, it's just wonderful. So here's my question to you two. What do you, when is it appropriate to have this generator? When's the generator the best thing? And when is it better to have something more physical, something, more experiential? Or how can the generator have some of that experientialness like pulled into it so that it feels, that you have like both the data but also the feeling?
That's a great question. I feel like I always lean. I don't think I've ever made a generator, and I don't know why. I always lean more towards the feeling, the physical. Like, I like a deck of cards. I mean, a deck of cards is just a generator, but you could shuffle it, you could draw it, you could scatter it in the grass and pretend like you're a moose eating mushrooms. But the generator has a certain convenience to it where like it, in the example of that nightmares table, you can just fill an entire spread with like 6-point font full of nightmares, and then just looking at it alone is kind of a nightmare. And then each one you read, whether you're rolling or just grabbing random ones, you can't do that like with a deck of cards, because to look at the table as a whole in a deck of cards, you have to, flip through the cards and read all of them, which would take a lot longer than like getting a feel for it looking at a table. And then the online generator is somewhere in between, where like the Morkborg one, I could just keep click here to enter, and I could see a bunch of little ones. So it'd be like it's like dealing out 15 cards onto a table and like getting that picture over and over, but like several times every 5 seconds. So I think it's all a matter of how much you want people to take in at once. Like, the generator is great for if you want the generator itself to be building a world, whereas the physical like deck is great if you want the individual like discovery to be more important and not the whole picture of the entire deck or generator.
Yeah, I think riffing off of that, Randy, if you're still listening, I think having an option for number of results you can see off of the generator would also be useful in terms of like the type of GM or people that are facilitating the game or playing the game. Like, some people may only want like one piece of information, whereas other people may like, give me 3 options and then I'll pick from those 3 options kinds of things. But for me as a GM, when it comes to generator tables, I think between having an online tool and a tangible tool, and I guess even tangible includes like an app on your phone, I think it's about how necessary is the generator to the game for me. So like I don't know, maybe like if you're a person that needs to develop missions for Band of Blades, right? I think that having it in the book slows it down, because it feels like a prep thing. It feels like something you can't use during the session. Whereas like if I had a phone app or something that I could like just like click a button and get the parameters, I could just shovel out the briefing information to keep the role play moving. So I think about how much does it stop the game to use it, versus like is it something that I should be using during like prep time or out of session time?
Yeah.
And I think it also matters like the artifact of it. So in that same example, I would love to have a version or like a sheet that is just the tables that I don't like have to riff through the book for over and over again. Where I could just like print out a helpful cheat sheet of all the tables that I need and place them down and then roll off that so I can just reference the single piece every time instead of like hunting the page down. So I think it's about I don't like to use generators that are semi crucial to the game that I have to hunt for. I don't want to have to hunt for everything while I'm in play. When I'm out of play, I guess I don't mind as much when I have to hunt for something in a book or off of a site or anything like that. Did that answer the question?
Yeah, I want to riff on a bunch of that because I think it's making me think about how there's really different purposes to generators.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes a generator is just generating content like a dungeon, right? Like the Merkborg dungeon or like the Band of Blades mission, and it's pulling together a bunch of different things, and it's a lot of work to pull it all together. So it's nice to automate that, and you really want kind of one thing out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it does happen in prep or in like a down moment where you're figuring out your next step.
Mm-hmm.
But then it makes me think how there's also other generators they're more like maps. Like it's not the mothership example, but when you're creating your character, you pick was like a badge and like a patch. So you pick like a patch and the trinket or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually really nice to be able to read over the whole thing and just let your eye be drawn to different things. And that actually supports player agency, I think, in a better way than actually just rolling a random thing. So if you're rolling a random thing, it feels it's just here's one choice. But sometimes you actually want to see the whole map so you can explore it. And instead of being a visual map like a hex map or a map of a country or a city, it's a linguistic map that you can just wander around. And that's really valuable and really nice.
There's that makes me think of Ty mentioned a game to me a couple days ago about Emberwind RPG. I like Emberwind's character creation because it gives you two different ways to build characters. You can either do it the more traditional like roll for your stats sort of thing. It's like a traditional adventure RPG. So you can, or sort of trad, but you can roll for everything, or it has like an aspects tag builder that has like steps through it, which I think is really interesting. And what you were saying just made me think about it as far as like a character generation sort of thing.
Right. Arc RPG. Are you talking? Me?
No, go ahead.
I was going to say Arc on Kickstarter now by Momentos does a similar thing where each step of the character creation process, it's like, hey, do you want to choose this? Here's the average. We're giving you the average. Or you could push it and roll dice and then like get what you get. And so that happens for stats. That happens for basically everything. Even like you get to the inventory spot and it's like you can take 30 points to build out the perfect inventory for yourself, or maybe you can get some better stuff if you roll some dice. You can roll this many dice to try to get stuff. And whenever I made a character to see how the game worked, I rolled every time because it tickled the push your luck part of my brain. So somebody a little bit less foolish would probably just pick, but it gives that space to play. And like, luckily it was just a test character, so I wasn't playing it, but I pretty much failed every die roll in there, and so my character was garbage, and it was all my fault. So I wasn't mad at the game or anything because it was just I lost a gamble. It's good. Yes, it is called gambling. Very good. Put gambling in, and then give me the option to not do it, and I'll do it every time.
That's really neat. That's really neat. That's an arc, right?
Yeah.
That's that Kickstarter right now?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, all right. More ways to gamble. Well, in the video game world, I'm thinking about Returnal, which just came out on the PlayStation, and how so it's like a shooty roguelike game, and when you find an item, there's a small chance that it'll be really awesome, and there's a small chance that it'll curse you horribly for the rest of that run.
Oh,
Right.
God.
Yeah,
There's
that's
something
like
really nice about that.
it's like an old school roguelikes where it's here's an unknown scroll. Use it. Maybe it's a spell of
Put
healing.
it on.
Maybe it'll
Staple it
light
to
you
your
on
body.
fire.
Well, did y'all ever play Morrowind?
Yes.
So
Sadly, no.
So in Morrowind, you step off the boat in the lovely and very weird fungal island of Vardenfell, and of Morrowind, which is part of the area of Vardenfell in the Elder Scrolls. Anyway, pokes glasses back up onto nose. And you go through this very short tutorial, and then you're just like out because the game's so old that just tutorial it basically just like dumps you in with very little explanation, which is just such a joyful, and also glad we've moved on from that thing about games. And you're, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes out from the place where you got dropped off, and a dude in robes just drops from the heavens right in front of you. Funk. Dead on impact. You hear the screams, then gone. And when you search his body, you see that he has these amazing boots of jumping. And the game has explained to you nothing about like crafting or magic or and any of this, even like the skill system. Like you're really just like going in blind, and you could totally just like take the guy's boots that seem very high level, put them on, and you can imagine what happens if you press the jump button.
It's so good.
It's so good. Insta death. My favorite gaming moments and memories. Because of course I did in fact do exactly that. I put the boots on, flung myself into the air. It was like, this is really cool. And then, oh shit.
Yeah. And then died. Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. I kind of love it when a game trolls me like that, as long as it has a well-functioning quick save or checkpointing system.
I just ruined my whole game with this. Damn it. Also, the phrase is not did you play Morrowind, it's did you break Morrowind. I destroyed the entire town of Balmora in a night. Those poor guards.
Oh man! Well, it's like we were talking, like Jeremy. So we were talking about on the when we were recording the other day. Like balance is overrated. Like Morrowind got just so completely unbalanced by the end of it in the most delightful way.
Yeah, all the spell building. Spell building was fun.
Right. It is the Brandon Sanderson of game endings.
Yeah, for sure.
I appear to have turned into a god again.
Yeah, it was strange.
Oh Lord. I don't know if you have other callers. I'm gonna keep talking until you kick me off the show.
Other callers, but that's because the queue is closed.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
That's not me kicking you off the show, but yeah, we are nearing the end of it.
Raph, do you have any plugs for the folks at the chat?
I do have some plugs. You might have heard them before. There's this wonderful game called Campfire that you can back on Kickstarter called at braintrust.rocks, which I've backed. As a horror game creator myself, I'm so excited to see more creepy horror games that use cards, and I cannot wait to play it. And there's also this wonderful podcast network and beard care accessories collective at +1 EXP that you should also check out. And you should also check out StorySynth, and also there's the StorySynth Summer Jam just going on. I'm still figuring out what I want to do for it, but I definitely want to write another Stories Synth game because they're so easy to write and they're so fun. And yeah, if you want to play some creepy Annihilation-like horror in your browser, you can always go to thezonerpg.com and just play anytime. Add some creepy Annihilation or Stalker style play to lose horror where everyone except one person will mutate and die horribly with a mutations generator table, by the way, to your weekend
to
at
bring it all back.
thezonerpg.com. Yeah, just tying it all together. And I'm now going to go just like sequester all of my kitchen appliances into a safe place where they can't hurt me.
Yeah, lock those off until we figure out what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
That's right.
Y2K
right.
all over again.
Thank you for bringing the fear to me this morning. Really, like the whole world now terrifies me.
Yeah, watch out for
You're
the
welcome.
mandolins. They'll get you.
Never getting near one of those. Pre-sliced, baby.
Keep all your fingers.
Yeah,
all right.
This is the one thing I want the machines to do. If the machines want to take over the world and take over the slicing of meat, I'm good with that.
Slicing of human meat. Anyways, thank you, Raph, for everything today. You've been a treat.
Always a pleasure.
All right.
Talk to y'all soon.
Talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Oh, I almost hung myself up, which was not.
Rest in peace.
we gotta close out the show. It would have just been me, and you would have been gone. Actually, you wouldn't have been gone, but your audio would have been. So it would have just been you sitting there, like this. But yeah, that's the show. Do you have anything else that you want to talk about, add, plug, think about?
I don't think so. I think I'm, listen to the Draw Your Dice podcast. I'll be bringing back design things for Heed the Call, and keep calling into the Tabletop call-in show.
Yeah, we'll keep you all posted on the format of the show going forward. We've got some ideas for
it might evolve,
schedule alterations, maybe some other variety show type things going on between episodes of the call-in show, but we haven't ironed that out at all because that's difficult. So until you hear anything, we'll be back on next Sunday. And that's it. I've been Adam Bell. Follow me on Twitter at Adam E. Bell. Go to purchase my games at adamebell.games. And
I've been Jeremy Gage. Go to @JeremyGage5 and come join the DYD community tower area over on Discord to come chat and hang out with me and Adam more.
Yeah, and I bet you could find the link to that in the show notes for Draw Your Dice podcast episodes. Am I wrong?
That's true. That's correct. You can use the link tree to get that information. Infinite link.
Yeah, and so what I'm trying to tell you is go listen to the Draw Your Dice podcast because it is lovely. I need to catch up. I'm very behind.
Good. There's a lot in store.
There is. I'm excited for it. Yeah, everybody, goodbye. Hope you enjoy playing some games. I hope everybody that's going to play the toaster situation enjoys it. I'm sure the playtest will go great. We will talk to you later.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.